You know that feeling when someone shows up for you just when you need it most? That's what Uber is all about. Not just a ride or dinner at your door. It's how Uber helps you show up for the moments that matter. Because showing up can turn a tough day around or make a good one even better. Whatever it is, big or small, Uber is on the way. So you can be on yours. Uber, on our way.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Hi, I'm Tom Cock. You know, many of us are going to make New Year's resolutions just around the corner because, well, that's what we do, right? Whether it's losing weight, it's getting in shape, it's maybe working on your finances a little bit. And of course, our program is about money. So let's talk about the money part. Our friend Chuck Jaffe wrote a recent column talking about the fact that really making a one-year resolution is too short-term when it comes to your money. He was exactly right. He talked about decade resolutions, 10 years down the road. Where do you want to be? A 10-year plan. I think that's brilliant, especially if you're getting closer to retirement. So let's talk about the things that should go into that, not entirely based on what Chuck said, some of our own, and then you can figure out how your plan fits in. Number one, the one thing you should figure out for those next 10 years is how much you need to save. Absolutely, everybody needs to know that. It should not be a pie-in-the-sky number. It should be realistic, and maybe it scales up. Maybe you're having a hard time saving 5% of your income this year. Move that up slowly over the years. Number two, how much money you're trying to make on your money. Nobody knows what the future of stocks and bonds are going to be. No one expected the huge year we had this year in 2019. But it come up with a moderate return, especially if you're 70, 60% in stocks, 40% in bonds or so. I'd like to see 6 or 7% in returns. I think that's reasonable. Here's the other part of the equation people often forget. How much debt you have and how are you going to pay that off? Remember, the best way to do this is to start with the high interest rate debt, kind of snowball that down while paying the minimum on the rest, and then pick up those next debts as you go. If you're retiring in 10 years, this is incredibly important. You need to assess how much you have saved, how much you're going to create an income to live off those, what other sources of income you'll have. And an easy way to do that, by the way, is something I think you should do every year, at least. I do mine twice, is a spreadsheet that shows your sort of net worth, all those assets you have, right? Your savings, your retirement, your house, other assets, minus the debts, right? Who do you owe? Credit cards, et cetera, et cetera. That gives you a net worth. Now, here's the part you can really do at the end of the year that I think makes sense. Again, for a long-term way to take better care of your money. Many of you have either way too much in cash or not enough in cash. I see people come into our office with hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash, which is great for the banks because they're making a lot of money on that and you're not. Not so great for you. Again, if you're working and your job is fairly stable, of course, we'd like to all believe our jobs are stable. I think 3 to 6 months of cash in the bank is more than enough. If you're retired and you have a regular source of income from a pension and Social Security, again, I think 3, 4, 5, 6 months, plenty. Any more than that is wasted. You're simply being inefficient and making others money. That's number one. Number two is looking at the investments you have. This is a great time of year to do that after you spend time with the kids, grandkids, etc., to determine how much you're paying others. Know the expense ratio to determine if you're paying commissions, 12B1 fees, etc., right? And then the all-important what your stock-to-bond ratio is. I get back to the beginning. What you're trying to achieve with the money you've saved. I think 10-year resolution, absolutely fabulous. You should have a goal. Say, here's where I'm trying to get to, because if I reach that, I'm going to be that much closer to retirement, et cetera, et cetera. 10-year, decade resolutions, absolutely fantastic. Thanks for listening to Talking Real Money.
Talking Real Money. We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestory, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That's a wrap.